Hey, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on what time you're watching this. My name's Eric Peterson, and I'm part of the Stewardship Committee at First Lutheran. And this month's theme in stewardship is stewardship of creation. So today I have with us ChoCho Williams, one of our members, who is going to talk about stewardship of creation. And we'll do this in the form of me asking her a few questions that relate to stewardship of creation. So to start out, ChoCho, where do you see God at work in creation?
I see God obviously in all the plants and animals, but I also see it in people coming together and teaching each other and sharing how to work with the environment and make it a better place for everyone to live, including the animals and plants we have.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. So thinking about that, then, what are some of the things that you've done in your life to be a good steward of creation?
I think the obvious answers are like planting and like, you know, making sure when you go out somewhere you don't leave your trash places, especially if it's like a zoo or a park, so animals um don't eat that stuff and get sick or anything like that. But also, I think that in the 21st century a lot of people are thinking about more sustainable things at like what we put in our lives, like straws and things like that. There are bigger movements now where people are banning those things and like trying not to use those. So I think I try to, obviously not to use straws and like disposable things like that.
No, that's great. I mean, and I hear what you're saying. It's kind of about making sure that we care for something so that it can continue to thrive. And obviously, creation is such an amazing gift that God has provided that we absolutely do need to make sure that our footprint in it and on it is light enough so that it can continue on and that people beyond us, generations beyond us, will have the same beautiful, useful creation that we've been enjoying. So that's great. So kind of riffing on that, then what are some of the things that we might be able to do at 1301 Colley Avenue to improve as stewards of creation?
I think um, whatever we do will affect the community by showing an example for our members and for the people who are not members but look at our church and look at our community and say, wow, like that's what something I want to be doing in my life. But I think by one instance, what we did was instead of using disposable cups, we started with mugs. Now, maybe we can't do that when we go back right away, but I think that's a good change we have. Um, we when we used to do dinners on Wednesday nights, we always used reusable silverware and um, just things like that, cutlery, things like that. We don't we try not. I feel like as a church we minimize our waste. Yes, we do have waste, and we're always going to have waste. That's nothing
Sure.
you can just get rid of. But I think that we've reduced it more, and we're trying to show people that you can have these things, but there are ways you can have them in a sustainable way.
Right.
And I feel like sustainable gets thrown out a lot, but it's true. Like compared to one single use plastic, compared to reusable plastic or metal, it has a longer life. And I feel like people think that it's I think some people forget the longevity. Like the people before us has have taken care of the world by maybe not intentionally doing these things, but they didn't know about plastics. They didn't know about these things in the 14, 15, 1600s. They just lived out their lives and it turned out to be sustainable and eco-friendly and all these things. And I feel like we don't have to go back to those ages, but we have to take some of the practices they had and put them in our lives because they worked.
Right. That's a great point. And the other thing too is there are a lot more of us now than
Yeah.
there were all those years ago. So, we as humans obviously have so much more of an impact because there's just so many more of us now.
And we live for way longer than we
And we
used
live longer.
to.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, all good. These are all good things,
Hmm.
but we just need to. You're right. We just need to think about because of those factors. How can we make sure that we're doing the best job we possibly can to preserve the creation and pass it along.
And I think
In
another good thing is like living intentionally. Like that's another way of putting it is just thinking about what you're doing before you do it.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
great.
simple things like that. You don't have to be some crazy person. You don't have to live a crazy life. There's all these people on the internet that are like living zero waste lifestyles and like all these crazy things. But really, there's these simple habits to get into that cut down on waste so drastically in the world. And I think people have to just know that to do it. Because if you think, oh, I can't be that crazy person on the internet, like you're never going to do something. But when you realize that there are small changes you can implement that are already in your community, it's easier to say, hey, I can do that and pick it up.
Right, they're attainable. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I'm not ready to swear off electronics. We certainly wouldn't be having this interview.
No.
Um, okay, all right. Well, that's great, and I appreciate your time. It's wonderful to hear from you, especially given that you're a younger person who is going to be living with this creation for a good long while. So that's great. But we can all do our part without a doubt. Okay, thanks so much, ChoCho. Have a
Thank
great day.
you. You too.